Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab and today's video, which is going to be a full face of Charlotte Tilbury. This is the look that I created and I'm feeling very sophisticated today, so hopefully you'll enjoy seeing how I come up with the look. I'm going to share all of my Charlotte Tilbury products that I own in my entire collection. I'm going to show you how they apply to my face and give you my thoughts and opinions on them. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, I'm Yori. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you will enjoy it. Consider subscribing and joining my makeup family. I upload videos 3 times a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 9 a.m. Central. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and create this face. We're going to start with a sample that is going to be a first impression so we can try it out together. This is the Charlotte Tilbury. Everything's going to be Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Charlotte's Magic Cream Instant Turnaround Moisturizer. I received this as a sample from Beautylish and I've been holding on to it for a while. I looked it up on Sephora just to see how it's rated and see what people are saying about it. I know people rave about this, but the full size of this product is $100. And I noticed that in this particular sample, you get 0.5 fluid ounces. And when I looked it up on the Sephora website, a 0.5 fluid ounce mini retails for $29. So thank you very much, Beautylish, for the amazing sample. So there's what the moisturizer looks like. It's a very moussey looking consistency, and let's try it on together. I'm gonna start with about that much, and I don't have a primer from her line, so I am basically going to be using this as a primer. I did my morning serum, but I did not apply a moisturizer in the morning because I knew I was going to apply this. Okay, so I can tell a little bit goes a long way because I thought I had grabbed just a tiny bit, but it is definitely going all over my face and definitely feels luxurious. If you've used this for a significant amount of time, I would love to know what you think of it. I want to know a little bit about it. So it's a hydrating moisturizer that lifts and smooths the skin, reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. That definitely addresses my concern, and it is for normal, dry, and combination skin tone. I have dry skin. It has very good ingredients, including hyaluronic acid and peptide complexes. Nice. So far, nice. Hopefully I don't love it after extended time because I don't want to commit to a $100 moisturizer. That's a lot of money. Let's move on to the foundation. Now, I try to keep everything in its box so that I could show you when I finally made the video, but this is something that I've had in my collection for a while. This is the Light Wonder Youth Boosting Perfect Skin Foundation, and I opted to pick mine up in the shade number 6. Like I said, I've worn it before. Now, this specific product says that it is for perfect looking skin that is protected, instantly illuminated, and feels smoother and more hydrated, enriched with a botanical alternative to retinol and ceramides. It is a squeezy tube and you get 1.4 fluid ounces. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shake. This is about how much product I'm going to use, and I am going to apply it with my Luxie 512 small contour brush. I was going to use my Pat McGrath brush, but I used it the other day and look at that. It's not even taking the right shape anymore because there's so much product in there. It absorbs a lot of product. So I'm going to rinse that out and keep trying it, but I was not happy with that collection. And here I am applying my foundation with a brush I got in a BoxyCharm. Now this one says to start in the center and work your way outward. So I'm just going to dab it towards the center of my face and work my way out. That's the way I prefer to work. And then usually I will apply a little bit more in the areas where I want a little bit more coverage. I actually intended, darn it, I've already messed up. I intended to use the Hollywood Flawless filter for Superstar Youth Glow. Can't say it as fast as Samantha Ravndal does, but that's okay. I can definitely use it on top of my foundation, and I'm applying such a light layer anyway. This will let you see the true finish of the foundation, which is helpful, I think. So the Light Wonder foundation comes in 10 shades that I can see on the Sephora website. It is a light coverage for normal, dry, combo, oily skin, radiant finish, and it is supposed to be lightweight, illuminating, smoothing, hydrating, and pore minimizing. It minimizes the appearance of wrinkles as well. So I have to say I agree with those claims. As you can see, it is a super sheer coverage foundation. My skin looks like skin, but it is illuminated and hydrated. So I'm gonna stop here with the foundation. We're gonna continue with some concealer. This is the Magic Away Liquid Concealer, full coverage, long lasting, dark circle correcting concealer. I have to admit that out of the entire collection, open her entire line, this is one of my least favorite products. So this is what your actual packaging looks like. It is a tube concealer with a sponge tip applicator like this. And I have to say, the first time that I used this, I was twisting. I was twisting for a good 5 minutes before anything started coming out. I did pick up the shade number 5, which is the shade medium, and I think it's okay, but I really do not like the dispenser here at all. It's just, you can't really control how much product is coming out, and then, I don't know, some of it is always left on the sponge, and then that's exposed to air, and then it starts to cake a little bit. It's just honestly not my favorite. I also find it a little bit drying. See, I can see some squeezing out, yet when I dab on my face, hardly any of it is actually stamping. So notice that I'm not putting a lot of concealer at all. I'm gonna go ahead and blend that in with this Tarte concealer brush. I just find that this formula is really drying. The coverage is good. I don't know, it's not my favorite underneath my eyes. You definitely do not want to do the big triangles with this concealer. If you have a problem under eyes like I do with a lot of like wrinkles and creasing, this product will creep right into those lines in my opinion. It's been my experience anyway. So this is just not my favorite of her products, unfortunately. It's covering well. I think that the problem starts over time, and then if I try to set it, it retails for $32. It comes in 16 shades, which is better than the foundation. This is supposed to be basically for all skin types. It says it has Persian silk tree bark extract, which creates the illusion of a lifted upper eyelid. That's interesting. I've never heard a concealer make claims for the upper lid. It also has the Bliss molecule to reduce the appearance of lines and wrinkles, extract of wild indigo to brighten the under eye. I think it is brightening, and I didn't pick a shade that is too light for my skin tone, if you notice. I think shade number 5, I think I said. Yeah, shade number 5 is actually a good match for me. Now that it says that it gives appearance of a lifted upper eyelid, maybe I'll start priming my eyelids with this actually. I hadn't noticed that before. Maybe I'll try this concealer a little bit more without setting it. I like the Cover FX concealer without setting as well. I find that with those more mattified formulas, when I don't set my concealer, I get a better result. Let's go ahead and get into the Flawless filter. I picked up shade number 4, which is the shade medium, and this is one of those products that people say is really unique from the collection and that they can't really compare it to anything else and so on. And if I were going to compare it to something else, I would compare it to the Becca's liquid illuminators, the one that are more of these beigey tones. I'm going to apply it to the high points of my face, just areas that I would want illuminated. I actually have found that when I apply this all over my face, when I'm doing it underneath my foundation, I actually find that the doe-foot doesn't pick up that much product, at least not as much as I would want if I'm applying it all over. Some people say that they use this in place of foundation. I wouldn't do that. I like an illuminated look for sure, but I think that it's too illuminated, where to the point that it looks a little, not metallic, but not natural for sure, especially if you put it all over. And my preferred method to apply it is with a beauty sponge. You can also do it with your hands. If you're applying it on your bare skin, you can actually just blend it out with your hands if you wanted to. But since I already applied my foundation, just blend it out with my sponge. So you can probably see how illuminated my skin is, and I have a lot more radiance, and it looks like a really natural highlight that's kind of coming from within. So it's a really beautiful product. I mean, I really like it. It's one of my favorites from her line. You do get a complete fluid ounce. It's made in Italy. This one comes in 7 shades, and it is a liquid tinted complexion booster for a superstar youthful glow. Okay, I'll buy that for $1 or 44. As a beauty tip, it says to dial up your look, extend the application from the face to the décolletage. Maybe I'll do that when I'm all set and done, but I do recommend the product. I think it's beautiful, but if you have a liquid illuminator, you can use it more or less the same way. The advantage of this one, I would say, is that it doesn't dry as fast. You have some liquid illuminators like the Anastasia one and even the Marc Jacobs one. In my opinion, they dry out a little bit quickly as you're working with them, so you have to work fast. Here's something that's new to me that I plan to wear on top of my foundation, but let's just go into it anyway. This one is the Beauty Light Wand Easy Highlighter, and I'm not sure that this has a specific shade. Oh, it's the shade Spotlight. And it looks like the same packaging as the contour. So again, this is something that I haven't used before. The same exact packaging as the contour with a sponge tip applicator. You are supposed to twist it to turn it on, and then you just squeeze to dispense the product. So let's see, you can see it coming out there. So I'm just gonna apply it over the high points again. I do like that it's very obvious how you turn this one off and on. I'm just gonna blend that out. Even more glowy. I think that's just the whole vibe of this brand, you know, very glowy, natural looking makeup. That specific product comes in 3 different shades, and 2 of them are more highlighters, and then the last one is more of a blushy tone that has Lindera extract to mimic the effect of light. I would say that's fairly accurate. My face is a little sticky though. Which I don't love, honestly. So let's keep going with one of my absolutely favorite products from her line. It's been in a favorites video before. This is the Contour Wand, and I believe it comes in 2 shades. I have mine in the shade Fair Medium. When you're a medium skin tone, sometimes it's hard to tell if you should go up or down in terms of shades when they only have 2 available. But with this one, I decided to go into the lighter end, and it worked out really well for me. So it works pretty much like the concealer, so I'm just going to squeeze some out. Not the concealer, the highlighter we just used. So I'm going to squeeze some out, and I'm going to carefully dot it. It's really intimidating at first. I mean, look at that. Really crazy. I'm going to blend it out with this dual-ended brush by Urban Decay. And you see how quickly it starts to blend out. Like, I'm not even nervous that I left it applied to my skin over several seconds while I try to figure out what brush I was gonna use. Because look at that. It just disappears into the skin. I mean, you can see it there, but I'm looking in the mirror and it's definitely not as intense. It just blends out so easily and beautifully. It's a product you really can't mess up. So if you're new to contour, that's one place where I would definitely recommend, is a very good place to start. Soft Focus Semi Matte Contour Wand with Sponge Applicator. I don't love the sponge applicator, honestly. I think they can do better. Like, if they had even a doe foot like you would have for a concealer, it would be really, really great. But I love the product so much that in this case, I can definitely overlook the packaging. And I also feel that it worked well with the illuminator as well. The one that I just is the concealer. I don't like that one. I let the concealer set for a while without setting it with powder. It's creasing on my eyes for sure. You can see that. So I will set it. I'm gonna try using the concealer a little bit more without setting it underneath my eyes, and I have a feeling I'm gonna like it a lot more. It's a technique that I shared in one of my favorites videos a couple months back that I've really been enjoying, that I just find that if you have cakey looking under eyes, stop setting your concealer, and it just, I don't know, especially if it's a drier formula. My under eyes do feel a little bit tacky, but I don't know, like, this concealer has never looked better as it does right now. I have one more cream product that I want to share with you, and one of them, I think I used one and not the other. I don't remember exactly, but it is these 2 Pretty Youth Glow Filter Cheek and Hug Brush as well. So basically this is another cream illuminator, but it's also a cream blush. And I have to say, I'm a little bit upset at the launch from this one, because when they were launched, she didn't mention that you can just purchase the cream illuminators without, yeah, this is the one I haven't used. So I've used the other one. I'll show you the other one. This one is in the shade Seduce Blush. And basically, I think I paid about $75 for these. They're not even on the Sephora website right now. And the thing is, they come with these little brush, and it's supposed to fit in the compact where it's touching the highlighter and the blush, and you just apply it and you're supposed to be done. In practice, things like this never work. So I would have bought the compact because I was interested in the product and actually like the product inside, but the brush, it's just, I didn't enjoy the brush, and then I not only had to buy the brush once, I had to buy it twice because I wanted both shades. This one is a lot more corally, and it's the one that I was using the most because it really went along with a summer look. This one was the shade Pretty Fresh, and again, I don't dislike them. In this instance, I did try to use the brush and I just didn't like it. Maybe I can use this for something else. Maybe for setting on, actually, yeah, maybe for setting underneath my eyes when I set with powder. I'm gonna go ahead and use this brush from Tarte. It's a synthetic brush, and I feel that these synthetic brushes, they pick up cream products really well. See, it gives a very nice look. I like the look of it. It's not my favorite product from her line. I was just so excited when I first got into Charlotte Tilbury, when I could finally afford to buy any of it, because to me, this is a very luxury brand that I was just curious about all her launches. They recently went on sale on her website. It was part of her summer sale. I forget what she called it, end of summer. I actually really like the way that this is applying. I have her Swish and Pop blushes as well, which I'll show you right now, and I love those from her line. I would say that's like a top 3 for me. Those blushes are incredible. I'll show you the ones that I have. So that was the shade Seduce blush applied, and I think it looks really pretty. Her packaging is all very consistent, very cohesive in the packaging. I do like it. I think it's very old Hollywood, like I keep saying, but it's a little bit lighter than you would expect from a luxury brand. I guess that's fine if you're gonna carry it around. Who wants something really heavy? Let me tell you about the other blushes that I have. So I have these 2 Cheek to Chic blushes that I won't be applying today. The first shade that I have is Pillow Talk, and this came out with her Pillow Talk collection, and that's what that one looks like. It's a very beautiful neutral kind of blush. I don't really do the Swish and Pop with this. This is supposed to be Swish and Glow, actually. So the blush is on the outer part of the compact, and then the inside is supposed to be a little pop of glow, more of a highlighter type product. It's a beautiful blush. I just swirl it all together and I apply it to my cheeks, and I really like this blush. But the one that I absolutely love is this one here, and this one is in the shade Sex on Fire. Look at this color. It doesn't look like much in the pan, I know. It looks maybe very neutral. It's actually got a mauvey tone to it, especially the pop portion inside. And I love to wear this blush whenever I do cool tone looks. Even if it's a colorful eyeshadow look, it just makes, I don't know, it just gives something really special to my face. And these are very matte blushes in my opinion, but they are so beautiful. Both this one and also the Pillow Talk one. I love these blushes. At the end of the video, I'll give you like a top 5 recommendation of the products from the brand, but I definitely will have these blushes on there. I love them so much. I wouldn't recommend them at that price point if I didn't think that they were really amazing. They last really well, and if you like a matte kind of blurring finish blush, those are amazing, and they come in a lot of different shades. All right, let's move on to some powders. The one I wanted to talk to you about is this one. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. This is a very popular powder in the Charlotte Tilbury line, very highly celebrated. I picked up mine in the shade number 2 medium. It's a beautiful powder. It's super soft to the touch, super finely milled. My thing about the powder is that I think that this is a powder that's better suited for someone who has a lot of pores, or mostly people who have a lot of pores or more oily skin, because it has a very blurring effect. Like I even notice it when I apply it to my own face underneath my eyes. I see the blurring effect instantly, and I know that someone who has pores that they want to hide will really appreciate a powder like this. Come on, concealer, you're supposed to be lifting my droopy eyelid. So I'm just picking up a very small amount, and I'm gonna go ahead and lay that over the concealer to set it. So right now my under eyes are looking great. So I'm just gonna take just the smallest amount and apply it underneath my eyes. So you can compare. If you compare one side to the other, you can see the side that I applied powder. It is more mattified, but it's also more blurred. So if you want to hide any imperfections that you may have, I do recommend the powder. I'm just gonna take just a little bit more down here in the area where I have pores. And yeah, it's just very blurring. Let me get really close. You see that? It's a great powder. I really do like it. I'm not a powder fanatic because I have dry skin, but as far as powders go, that's a really good one. The other powder that I have a tendency to really like is the Too Faced Prime and Poreless, which I feel like not a lot of people talk about. The only thing is that that powder is translucent and this one comes in shades. So it's a little bit more beneficial in terms of avoiding flashback and things like that. All right, so there's that powder applied. I have to say, I really do like this powder. The powder is $45. It comes in 3 tones. It's rated like 4.25 stars. It says it blurs imperfection and visibly reduces shine. I definitely agree with that. My under eyes feel so smooth. The sticky feeling is all gone, which I really like. So I have another powder. This one is the Charlotte's Genius Magic Powder, and it's supposed to be good for under the eyes as well as for setting your face as well. Here's what that one looks like. I picked mine up in the shade number 2, which is Fair Medium. I'm gonna take my Pat McGrath powder brush. I really like this brush actually. I just think it's overpriced for what it is. I'm just gonna grab just a little bit from the cap and I'm going to begin to pat starting up here. Actually, I was watching Kimberly Clark and she was doing like I don't know if it was like a no brand makeup tutorial. She suggested powdering from the bottom, working your way upwards so that powder doesn't fall on areas that are not powdered, which I thought was really interesting, but I wanted to focus sort of most of the powder that's on my brush on the areas that needed more. So that's kind of my strategy, but I'd never heard that before and I thought that was really interesting. Maybe I'll try it next time. So I'm just lightly powdering all over. I like this powder, as I mentioned. It's not my favorite. I don't like it underneath my eyes. It could be something having to do with the shade. I feel like it darkens my under eye and then it makes my under eyes look a little bit cakey. I prefer the Huda powder for underneath my eyes, but to set the entire face, this is really nice. The smell is a little questionable, and you know, I have to say, I purchased this powder when it first launched, and I think that it may have been reformulated. I've heard on Wanna Makeup's channel, because she loved this powder, but she mentioned that she bought another one and the second one wasn't exactly the same. I don't know if they tried to change it because of the smell. I'm not exactly sure, but I do have the original and I do like it. If you've tried it in most recent times, let us know how you feel about it to see if it's still worth picking up. So you can see it's kind of bringing down the shine just a little bit. It's definitely removing the sticky feeling to my face. I love a dewy look, but I hate a sticky feel. So this powder has 13 grams in it, which is not a lot, but is not as little as the Pat McGrath powder where you only get, I think it was 5 grams. I just uploaded that video, so check it out if you haven't. I do have another powder product and it is the Film Star Bronze and Glow powder. It's basically the contour palette from Charlotte Tilbury, and look at this. It says the secret that silver screen sirens have kept to themselves for years. Well, we all need in on that. I picked mine up in the shade Fair Medium. Again, this is one of those products where they have 2 different shades for you to choose from. Interestingly enough, this contour powder doesn't look like it would do much for me, honestly. Look at that. It looks almost like my skin tone, especially after I did the contour and everything, but it actually shows up. It's one of those powders that you have to apply to really see the effects. So if you are interested in this contour powder, I would definitely suggest checking it out in store and having them actually apply it to your face so that you can see which is the better suited, because I was already about to go for the darker one and the sales lady was telling me, no, I think you should really try the lighter one. She used this brush, which is the powder and sculpt brush, to apply it, and so I ended up buying both pieces. The brush is nice. I really like the brush actually. In the packaging for the brush, it talks about how it has these facets on the handle, so when you lay it on your vanity, it doesn't roll away. I hadn't noticed that before until you told me, but yeah, it definitely doesn't roll away. Like my other brushes are all over the place right now, and this one is nice and staying put right where I put it. I actually have preferred the brush for highlight, so I'm gonna set that aside. I am already contoured really, so I don't really need any more. I'm gonna use this end of my Huda brush actually. Yeah, I prefer something a little bit more fluffy so that I can blend right in the contour area. See, that definitely adds something. Just be careful when choosing your shade because the powder in the pan is really misleading. So there's that contour applied. I really like it. I really like this product on an everyday. Cream contouring is something that I have a tendency to do on more special occasions. I think it takes a little bit longer in my opinion than just dusting some powder on. So this is really good for the everyday. The highlighter is really good for the everyday as well. It's subtle, but it is there. If you apply it, it is there. And I really like to use a brush like this so that you can really buff it into your skin. I'm not gonna apply this one to my skin today because I have a different one, which will be what, the number 3 highlighter I applied today. I prefer that kind of highlighter with a brush like this one. So that's what I'm going to do when I use my Bar of Gold palette. This one launched, I would say, about a year ago, and it was a re-release of one of the shades that kind of really made the brand very popular. Oh, it was number 1, this one here. That's the original gold, Bar of Gold highlighter, and then she did rose gold and gold bullion. I actually really like this product. I like to mix all the shades together, but as you can see, I've used these 2 shades the most. I'll just mix the 2 together like I always do. It's really what I always end up doing. So I really just swirl my brush in there, and it looks glittery, but when you apply it to the skin, it doesn't look glittery at all. So let's go right here. Not that I needed any more highlight, but for the video's sake, you know. So as you can see, I'm using buffing motions. I feel that that gives you a much more lit from within kind of look rather than if you like pinpoint a specific spot. I like to make it look like my skin is just radiating. Now this highlighter really intensifies when you put setting spray on it. So you'll apply it, you buff it in, and it's just like, oh, that's pretty. But once you put your setting spray, that's when you really see the effect. Now I have to tell you, I like this product, but I have powder highlighters that I like better. So I would go for the liquid one more than the powder one, but that's just my personal preference. In terms of powders, there's just others that I like more. And this one is beautiful though. I don't think you'd be disappointed if you purchased it, but it's not cheap. It's definitely amazing packaging, isn't it? Oh, I should have contoured my nose with that powder. We'll do that now. I'm not an expert at nose contouring, but this Luxie brush does help. This is the Luxie JD Weighty number 182. Really, I just try to narrow my nose a little bit and then I bring it up into like towards my eyebrow. I find that actually has most impact rather than anything else, is my actually narrowing the nose at the top up here. So I'm just gonna take the brush I used to blend out my contour and just kind of run it so that it blends into everything else. I'm not sure how long this video is gonna be, but hopefully you like it. I don't think I've done a one brand tutorial before, so let me know how I did and if there's another brand you'd like to see, because it's fun. It's really fun. Let's move on to eye products, and I have a couple of eyeshadow palettes. So this one is not available anymore. It's the Stars in Your Eyes Eyeshadow Palette. I didn't do a review to this one on my channel, but I did haul it. So you've seen it before, and I've used it a couple of times. This one is arranged in 4 trios of colors right here. So you can see them, and it's very nice. This one retails for $75. Again, it's not available anymore, but I've seen a sneak peek for the holiday palette for this year, and it actually looks significantly differently than this one because it has some cooler tones on the right-hand side of the palette. I'm gonna grab that one. I really like the formulas here. The mattes are really nice. They blend well. They give you very neutral, everyday kind of looks, but with specific tonalities. So this one is a little more purple, this one is a little more warm tone, this one is very gold, and so on. So I won't be using this palette today, but it is good, and I think that in terms of value, purchasing a palette such as this one from the brand is better than the quads. Those quads are $53 for 4 tiny shadows. And don't tell on me, but after a while, to me, these little quads start to look the same. Is that bad? But here's the Pillow Talk quad. I've also used this one, and tell me that these shades are significantly different than what I just showed you in the palette. And this one is $53 and you get 4 shades. The other one was $75 and you get 12. So that's why I think the palettes are just a better deal. I'm not saying that these are bad quality. They're really nice. I just think you get a little bit more with the palettes. So this is the Pillow Talk palette. Let me show you the Icon palette. And this one is limited edition, but it's still available. I did a full review and tutorial using this palette already, so I'm not going to use it again today. But here's what that one looks like. I'll link my video in the cards if you want to check it out. But these formulations are different than the other two that I just showed you. These are like a cream to powder kind of finish. It's just a different formulation in terms of the eyeshadow palette. Works beautifully. And again, I believe I paid about $53 for this one. Let me check. This one is still available. $65. So this one is $65, and again, compared to the little quad, it's just a better deal to get the palette. So if there's a specific quad that really calls out to you, by all means, pick it up. It's great quality, you'll enjoy it, but I wouldn't recommend picking up 2, 3, 4, 5 quads because they kind of look the same. It's just me, but I really like creative makeup. I like everyday makeup too. I'm having a blast today, but I don't think you need 20 of the same of these little things at 50 some dollars. I have something that I got in my Beautylish Lucky Bag, and this is more of a face palette. Here's what this one looks like. I was actually wearing this in a video a while ago when I first mentioned wanting to make this video about Charlotte Tilbury, and you all were really nice about my eye look there. Now this doesn't look like much. I'm looking at it on the screen, I'm like, what? This one is the 5-minute face on the go instant look in a palette, and there's many variations for this one. I didn't pick this one out for myself. I got it in my Beautylish Lucky Bag, and I usually pick my Beautylish Lucky Bag in the light to medium skin tone range, and they sent me this. And it basically has a bronzer, it has some eyeshadows, a highlight, and cheek products. And actually these powder products are excellent quality. They're the same quality that you would find in her palettes. I would say that the shimmer eyeshadow is not as good as what you would find in the quad, but it's pretty good. My only complaint with this palette is that the pans are really small, so you have to work with smaller brushes. When I'm working with this palette, I'll use a cheek brush like this one for my blush because I can fit it into those pans and not get the other products in there. That's my only complaint, is just the pan sizes, but when you want something on the go, you don't want it to be big. I mean, it would be contradictory. So I was surprised that I enjoyed this so much. I also really like that black shade, and what I like about it is that it's not super pigmented. It's kind of contrary to what you would want from a black eyeshadow, but hear me out. It's just really good for deepening out the other shades. And so I was able to get a really good smoky look, which this one is, the Smoky Eye Beauty, using this palette, and it was really good. So if there's one that happens to call out to you that you think most of the products would work for your skin tone, it's not a bad purchase. It's just you kind of have to be in that sweet spot where you can use all of the different shades in the palette. Sometimes there's always something that doesn't work out, and that one, the highlight is a little bit icy for me, but you know, it's kind of the give and take when you can't customize your own palette. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use this one, the quad. I do have some of her Eyes to Mesmerize cream shadows. I used them recently. Let me show you the ones I have. Look at how Sephora sent me this. It's like, nice job, Sephora. Presentation definitely matters, and that was a fail. This one was better. So I have the rose gold shade and the star gold. One is more rose gold, one is more bronzy gold. I was wearing the star gold shade in the video where I did a haul update. I was wearing like a red lip. I was wearing this on my eyes, and these are basically just cream shadows, potted cream shadows. This one is the star gold, and you know, I like them, but I don't love them. I prefer the ones from Hourglass or the ones from Kylie Cosmetics. What I love about these is that, you know, it's a one and done kind of look. You can put it on your eyes, blend it out. There's no glitter here. It's just a metallic shadow, so you're not going to have any glitter fallout. That's definitely a plus. But on me, it's kind of an emollient product, and it has a tendency to crease. The good thing is that you can tap over your eyelid and then the crease has disappeared, but it's something that you kind of have to babysit throughout the day. So that's the rose gold one. And that's the one I was wearing in that haul update video, which I'll link up there if you want to see it in person. So with regard to these, I think they're nice. I don't think you need the entire line. I would say if there's one that really calls out to you, then go for that one. And I think think I personally prefer the Star Gold one. It just suits my skin tone really well, and it's a nice one and done kind of look for work. So those are those, but they crease a little. They do crease a little bit. So let's work with this. So I want to be very Charlotte Tilbury about this. If you've ever seen any of her demos, she will typically apply, let's see, she labels them prime, enhance, smoke, and pop. So prime, enhance, smoke, and pop. So by priming, it means that this one goes all over the lid. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up on my Smith 247, and I'm just gonna put it all over. I'm not taking it all the way up to my brow bone, but I'm blending it outward. All right, so then what she would do is she would take the next shade, the enhanced shade, and she would work this into like the crease and under the lower lash line. So I'm just using a Luxie 131, and I'm grabbing a little bit of that shade and working it into my crease. I'm also going to put this along the lower lashes. All right, so we are all enhanced. So now let's go into the smoke. So I'm going to take the smoke shade, and I'm using a Sonia G Pencil Pro brush. And I'm just gonna run that along my lash line. So you can see these shades, they're intended to work quickly. Like this is really just kind of like an everyday throw it on kind of look and go. All right, so I'm gonna give it an all over blend. So then what she'll do, and I'm sure you've seen her do that, is she'll take that pop shade on her fingers and she'll put it over the lid, and then everything looks perfect. I don't know if that's the case for me. I'm gonna use just a little bit more of the smoke shade just to do the outside here. Give me a little more definition. That's better. I'm also adding a little bit more of that smoke shade underneath my lower lash line. So hopefully you can see I created the eyeshadow look almost haphazardly. Hopefully not doing a disservice to the eyeshadows because they're very, very good quality, but I'm just trying to emphasize how quickly you can work with them and get a look that's really pretty and suitable for work for sure, or for date night or something like that. For now, I'm glad that I got to try out the Pillow Talk quad, but I'm not in a hurry to try out any of the others that she has in her line so far. If she comes up with a new one, then maybe. But for now, I'm happy with the ones that I have, but I'm definitely having that one new palette, the one that's similar to the Stars in Your Eye palette, on my wish list for holiday. Since I didn't show you this highlighter, I'm going to use it on my brow bone as well as on my inner corner. So you can see it's definitely there. I don't know why people who get this palette, they have a tendency to say that they don't care for the highlighter. I think you have to apply it to your face to really see the effect. My camera cut out on me. I just finished my inner corner highlight, and I have one more product that's new to me to try, and this is the Legendary Lashes Volume 2. Heard a lot about this. My expectations are way up here, so we'll see how this is gonna go. It says 500% more volume, 100% thicker lashes, visibly longer lashes, long-lasting, smudge-proof, humidity-resistant. I like the packaging. It has little winky eyes on it, gold, along with everything else that we have here. She definitely commits to the theme in her packaging. I think it's beautiful. So let's discover this wand together. It's kind of a spiral natural bristle wand. My expectations are way high for this. The people who love it, they give it very good reviews. I usually use mascara with lash primer because I want to get the maximum length possible, and I'm a firm believer in lash primer, but I didn't want to do that with this mascara because I want to see what it can do on its own. And right now I have to say that it is separating, but in terms of lengthening, maybe. I don't see it volumizing, and I already got mascara on my eyelid. So that is about 2 coats applied. What do you think? I think this mascara is like $34. I'll have the prices of everything on the screen. I don't know, let's do the other one. I mean, it is lengthening. It's just not lengthening to the point where I'm like, wow, this is a high-end mascara I'm gonna repurchase over and over again. Obviously, I have to try it a couple more times to see what I really think. I'm gonna apply another coat, do the lower lash line as well, and then we'll come back to pick out a lip color. So I've applied another coat. The second coat did give it a bit of intensity, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like it on the lower lash lines though, because I prefer a smaller wand for my lower lash line. fine. Let's pick out a lip color. In terms of lip products from Charlotte Tilbury, I have a lip liner. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lip liner. I don't know if I just picked out a shade that's not complimentary to me or what. I think this is just fine. Again, people swear by these lip liners, both the shade Pillow Talk. This is the one that inspired like a lipstick. I don't know, it inspired a whole bunch of stuff. The eyeshadow palette I used, I think it's fine. I want to try the one in Iconic Nude because it's a little bit darker and I think I might like it better, I guess. I don't know, I guess my problem with this is that I barely see it. Alright, so that's Pillow Talk applied all over my lips. So for lip products, I have her matte contour liquid lipsticks, and these did not get very good reviews. I had this shade, Too Bad I'm Bad, which I got in a Beautylish Lucky Bag, and I think I got this one in a Beautylish Lucky Bag as well. This one is Charlotte Darling. This one is more of a nude, and this one is more of a rosy pink. Now, I do have some of her lip products as well, and these are what her lipsticks look like. I have these that I got in a Nordstrom set. This is Blushing Dream. Let me swatch these for you. And look at this bullet. See, this one is a traditional bullet, and then she has another one that's a different kind of bullet, which I'm going to show you here. This one is Rose Kiss. I actually really like this shade. See, this one is more squared off. And at first, so there are those shades. The one I just swatched is this one. That was the previous one. So at first, I thought that it has to do with her finishes because she has a more satin finish, which she calls her Kissing formula, and then she has a Matte Revolution formula. But those two I got in a Nordstrom anniversary set, I think last year, and it came with a Pillow Talk lip liner. I have these two that are still in their boxes, and one of them is a Kissing formula. So this is a Kissing formula in the shade Super Cindy. I really love this one too, but see, this one has the squared off bullets. So that one is Super Cindy. And then, sorry, Super Cindy is Matte Revolution formula. This one is the Kissing formula. See, it's very confusing, but wait till you see the bullet. This one is Kim KW. I've never worn this one because it's so nude, it scares me. But this one has that boxed off bullet as well. I'm confused. I'm really confused. What does that boxed off bullet stand for? Are those the ones that are inspired by like Hollywood people? I'm not sure. So that's Kim KW, and it's really, really sheer. I don't think that's gonna look good on me, honestly. I bought it because of all the hype. And then I have this one, which is Angel Alessandra. You've seen that on my channel lots of times, so I'm not gonna wear that. Let me swatch these two for you as well, just so that you know. The only thing about this is, you know, the formula in and of itself is not bad. It's a little bit moussey, but once you apply it, it actually looks really pretty and it's very comfortable. It's not a matte liquid lipstick that dries down completely, but the applicator leaves a lot to be desired. It's such a weird applicator. See that it has like a curve that's supposed to match your lips, but I just find that the product doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't, I just don't like the applicator. But the product in itself is not that bad. So this is what we're working with. Looks like 50 Shades of Pink. And I think with my look, this one is going to look the best, but I've worn that one on my channel a couple of times. I want to wear something different. Let me go ahead and apply that nude one, which is new. And if any of you know the whole story about the shape of the bullet, please let me know, because I did actually try to find out, but I couldn't find the answer. I'm not convinced that looks good. I think I can pull it off, but not with this look. Kim KW is just going to be too nude for me, don't you think? Oh my. Concealer Lip City. The formula is a lot more comfortable though, since this is one of their kissing formulas. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the shade Rose Kiss. So here we go. This is my full face of Charlotte Tilbury. What do we think? I would love to hear what some of your favorite products are from the brand, if I tried any of them, what you think of the products I tried and how they applied. Let me know, sound off in the comment section down below, because just a little while ago I was fairly new to this brand and then I just went all in, obviously. But this is the look that I created. I think it's very on brand with Charlotte Tilbury. I really feel that when you go into these products, you have to really look at the makeup artist and her work and kind of go with that vibe. You're not going to go with cut creases and wild highlighters with her brand. It's just not that kind of brand, but I think that you can create a very, very beautiful look. I would happily go to work like this. This is more than I wear to work, actually, because when I'm running to work, I don't have too much time to do all these steps. I think it came together beautifully. I mean, I think. What do you guys think? I'm gonna apply some setting mist, fix my hair, clean my mess, and then I'm gonna film an intro and outro for the video. So I will be right back. So this is the final look with my hair all fixed. I have to admit I'm feeling very sophisticated today. I do like the way that the look turned out. There are many times that I love to experiment with color and just do wild cut creases, all different colors, and just have a really good time with makeup, but this was really fun for me as well. And it's definitely something that I could do for work in a more professional setting in my personal line of work. I hope that you enjoyed seeing this kind of look. Let's do a quick rundown through some of the products that I shared. I shared my thoughts while I was applying them, and I just want to tell you what are those superstars that I would say are a good place to start if you're just looking into the brand. Now, my number one choice has to be the contour wand. This is such an amazing product. It is quite nearly foolproof. Like I mentioned, I'm not a fan of the packaging, but it works so well. If you're looking to get into cream contour or you want a contour that's very natural looking on your skin, this is the one, and she does have 2 different shades to choose from. My second choice are the blushes. I know that I didn't apply these to my face, but I've worn them on my channel before, and these blushes are just stunning. Specifically, the shade Sex on Fire is my favorite shade. These blushes are so beautiful. Are they worth $46? Well, is any blush worth $46? But this one is so beautiful. I love it. I am not sorry that I purchased it at all. And if I were looking to make another purchase from Charlotte Tilbury, I would definitely consider these blushes again. I love them so much. If I were gonna pick a third, the third would be the Hollywood Flawless Filter. It really is a versatile product. You saw that I didn't even use it the way I originally intended, which was gonna be underneath my foundation. I ended up using it on top. How beautifully it functioned on top of makeup as well. It is a versatile product. It's not as unique as people say, but it is unique. It is different, and it's something that you can customize to fit your own needs. I think that this is a good one. Again, I have mine in shade number 4. It performs really well. It's going to give you a beautiful natural looking glow. I personally wouldn't wear it on its own, but if you enjoy it that way, go for it. Absolutely. You know, makeup has no rules, and it's just a really interesting product, so I do recommend trying this one from the brand. Plus, you know, you're so curious, just like I was, with the way that everybody goes on and on and on about it. Those are my top 3 picks from today. If I were going to pick another favorite, I would definitely go with the lipsticks and the Charlotte Tilbury Angel Alessandra. I've recommended on my channel a couple times already, so I will just mention it again. The lipsticks are beautiful. I like the one that I ended up with. I know that I had to do a couple of tries. The liquid lipstick one, not my favorite. You can work with them. They're not my favorite though, but they're not your traditional liquid lipsticks. In terms of products that surprised me, the concealer surprised me today. I don't know if it's because I've been using that First Aid Beauty Retinol Eye Cream, but this has never performed this well on my eyes in the past. I've worn it several times and it's always been quite drying, but I don't feel that today, and I did set it with powder as you saw as well. I think I'm going to keep trying to use this concealer a little more. I still absolutely despise the applicator style, but the concealer did work a little bit better today. This powder is another really hyped product. It really is a beautiful product, and if I were gonna recommend one over the other, I would recommend the pressed version over the loose version, especially since the loose version has that funny smell. But you know, honestly, there was nothing here that was a fail. I would say amongst my least favorite are going to be the cream products, because again, I'm a little salty that I had to purchase the brush twice, and I really don't enjoy the brush, but the blush themselves work really well, and they last okay. They don't last as long as the powder blushes do. So if you were picking one or the other, go for the powders. The eyeshadows are beautiful, including the cream eyeshadows. Just don't forget the note about the creasing on these guys, as well as the note of purchasing the larger palette to get more for your money instead of the little quads. I'm not saying the quads are bad. They're not. They're beautiful. But so are the palettes, and you're going to get a little bit more for your money. Again, reminder, this is a totally different formula. So if you want to try more of her traditional formula, maybe pick up the holiday palette, but check out my review on this palette as well. It's a beautiful palette. I love it. It's gorgeous. It's just slightly different. So that was my overview of all the things that I own from Charlotte Tilbury. Oh, the brush. I do like the brush. I like that it doesn't roll. I didn't know that before. I mean, I knew it didn't roll, but I didn't know that it was intentional in terms of the shape. Very clever. I like it, but I find that similar to a lot of luxury brands like Pat McGrath, Guerlain, Charlotte Tilbury. The brushes are a little overpriced for what they are, although she does mention that this one is handmade in Europe, so maybe the quality of this one is a little bit better. I just find it's just not as soft as some of the natural hair brushes that I have, but I do like the brush. It's nice. It's just a little expensive. I mean, this is my brand overview. This is everything I own from Charlotte Tilbury, although I may have picked up those face palettes and you may have seen them in my Sephora haul, but they're in a box, so I didn't get to try them along with this, but I always do haul updates and I'll let you know how those goes. Those are the newest addition from Charlotte Tilbury to my collection. I would love to know your thoughts on this brand. I was so excited about it. I was really glad when they started carrying them at Sephora. They do also carry it on Beautylish. You know, they got their payment plan and all that good stuff because this is pricey, but you do get kind of that luxury experience. These compacts are so beautiful, so old Hollywood and sophisticated. I had a really good time with today's video. Hopefully you did too, and if you did enjoy it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below. I can't wait to hear what are your favorite products from Charlotte Tilbury and what your experience has been, especially if it was different than mine. It's just a brand I was really curious to try. I would love to do this again with another brand. I'm thinking maybe nude sticks, or I don't know what else. I have a lot of makeup from some other brands that maybe I could do. I don't know. Share your thoughts. Let me know what your recommendations are below, but I was thinking nude sticks might be a good one. Let me stop talking because I want to get into my Sephora haul boxes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely day wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you again really, really soon on my next one. Bye-bye.